Happy Monday, Team Urology. Happy Monday, Team UAB Urology, and welcome to this week's Monday Momentum episode. We'll talk about a couple of different things. First of all, some things to celebrate. If you're tuning in last week, yes, in fact, we had a Dean's Excellence Award for Staff, which was awarded to our very own Loranda Howard, our wonderful Loranda, who directs our education programs here, amongst a billion other things she does to take care of every one of us on our team. Won a Dean's Award for Excellence for Staff. And that's a huge deal. Only 10 people are awarded across the entire enterprise. And so it speaks volumes towards the huge impact that Loranda has on us every day. So if you haven't seen her, to pat her on the back and wish her congratulations, please do so. Dean's Excellence Award for Staff. Loranda, thank you for all you do for us in the education and service and academic missions for everything that we do. A couple of things to keep your eyes out for this week. We have some great visitors. So Dr. Clint Baylor is coming to us from Indiana to talk about prostate cancer and new and different ways to think about screening and understanding that disease. And we also have a visit from Dr. Christian Black. He's finishing his fellowship in men's health and andrology over at the Cleveland Clinic, and he's coming to take a possible look at a job with us for 2026. He'll be here with his partner, Marquise. Thank you, everybody who's spending time with both Dr. Baylor and Dr. Black today, tomorrow, and the day after. And we really appreciate you because these events are wonderful. They keep us energized. They keep us building ambassadorships and a reputation outside of the walls of UAB, and also help to bring great people to our team. So thank you, everybody, for spending time with people. So in the middle section, what we'll talk about today is the AAAs. And if you think I'm talking about an insurance company or a baseball league, let me reframe your mind. The reason we're going to talk about the AAAs is because last week I was with some trainees and I said, oh yeah, you know, the AAAs. And people were like, what are you talking about? So the AAAs in medicine are availability, affability, and ability. Now, I learned about these AAAs from my dad. He was the town pediatrician in a very small rural town where I grew up in Hackettstown, New Jersey. So when my dad emigrated here from Taiwan in 1971 or so, I don't think he spoke very good English. I mean, I wasn't born until many years later, but the stories I heard from his old patients were that they would call up and really wouldn't know what he was talking about, but he had a next available appointment the very next morning, so they'd get there. And I remember that he piped in the phone. This is back when we had landlines. So for people who don't know what a landline is, it's an actual wire that connects a phone into your house. So we used to have these, but he would pipe the office line into the landline at home, and he'd be answering the phone at all hours, Saturday, Sunday, morning, night, didn't really matter. Anybody could call at any time, which also meant that we were chipping in by answering the phones also. But that availability is what built him into being the busiest pediatrics practice in the town that I grew up in. And there were many other practices, but he was the busiest by far. Now, his availability was coupled with affability, meaning that whenever a person came in and they were like, oh, you know, I've got this thing on my toe, he'd be like, oh, let me take a look. That seems very nice. No problem. And so whatever the job, big or small, he was always available and he was always kind when it came down to dealing with whatever it was that people needed. And after a while, they realized, you know what? I don't really understand what he's saying, but my kids all seem to be getting better. And so their health is improving, and that ability caught up with him. But it was the availability and the affability that made a big difference. So where does that apply to in today's UAB mission? So whether we're talking about our growth of our research programs, or whether we're talking about our growth of our education programs, or our growth of our clinical service programs, and getting out in the community and demonstrating what amazing urology care and services that we have to all the people around Birmingham and beyond, availability is what makes a huge deal. So when people call and say, gosh, I'd love to have an appointment with UAB Urology, but I just can't seem to get a hold of a person, our response, our responsibility, our mission is to be the ones that say, no problem, we'll get you in tomorrow, which I think that most people who are tuning in on this do and live out every single day. So it's just a bit of a reminder that those foundational basics, availability, affability, and ability, they'll win the day for our growth and bringing our game to that next level. One of those tools, I'll tuck in your tool belt. So what's the call of action for this week? When you have an opportunity sometime this week to be available, but you've got a choice to not be available, take it upon yourself to just take that moment and say, you know what, I'm going to make myself available. Somebody asked me to do them a favor to pick up something at the grocery store, I'll go do that. Somebody asked me to see that extra patient in my clinic, I'll go ahead and do that. Somebody called me in the middle of the night to put a Foley catheter in. I can't imagine who I'm talking to right now, but just imagine that for a second. I'll go ahead and pick up the phone and I'll show up on time. So be available this week. See what that does to help you feel energized and see what that does to make an impact on our ability to get our mission and our people in front of others. Something to think about, a little bit to stew on, and a little call to action. I hope you have a great week, and thanks for tuning in.